Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another set of Genshin Impact reactions. Today we have two, of course, requested by Harshit in the comments of the last video, and this is Valiant, Duel, and Summa Perfectonis. These are apparently the demo themes for Veressa and Duran, so I at least know them, so that might help with trying to figure out what's going on in the song, but I'm just gonna listen to it and see what it tells me. So without further ado, let's go! Ooh. Immediate riff time, huh? Okay, circa 2010 baby metal. This is just give me chocolate. Come on. I mean, obviously not exactly, but if you know, you know. Tasty as fuck solo. Ooh, another half step. A lot of them. Oh. Going back into this. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Actually, no, not give me chocolate. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. That's headbang ya. Well, honestly, that's kind of exactly what I expected. I know Veressa enough, at least just in passing, that, yeah, this fits. Yeah, I can totally see this working with the character. Maybe at first people would have been like, whoa, that's a little bit different. Wouldn't have expected that. But like, since I'm kind of getting the gift of hindsight with who she is and what she has in general story beat and just as a character who she is, this fits. I definitely like this vibe. I mean, I'm fairly certain the baby metal similarities there are on purpose, because why wouldn't you? You want something that's a little bit badass, drill a little bit of metal in there. It totally works with the whole vibe that she has going on, while also keeping those lighter little bits of the orchestration in there to keep her like softer side in there as well, so it's not just all badass all the time. It wouldn't really work for her if that was all she was, because that's not all she is, you know? Like, again, from what I've seen, even though I haven't like experienced her story in the game or anything, it's still obvious that she has her background in wrestling, but also is somebody that isn't just constantly just badass biker chick all the time or something like that. That's a completely different type of character, and we already have that one. But also because of that, I don't think there's too much to say about the music theory in this one, because it's all just kind of doing the general stuff that Genshin does. Throwing a little bit of metal, which I do love, but a lot of this is just simple riff-driven stuff, nothing really to like sink my teeth into or explain on a musical end. And of course the orchestrated bits, those are short enough that I'm like, hey, it's not really worth getting into either. So I'm kind of wondering if Duran's is going to be a little bit more dense with stuff I'll actually want to discuss, but it's not like it ruined my opinion of the song. I think this totally works for her. And at the end of the day, that's what these character demos should have, is music that works for the character. Whether or not I see the point in getting into the music theory is kind of just dependent to the song specifically and what it tells me and kind of makes me feel, and if I want to share some of that with you. For this one, it was a blast, but also nothing that I could really turn into a teaching moment right now, in my opinion. So with all of that said, I'm going to move on to Duran's and see what that has in store for me, so let's go! Okay. Obviously, completely different mood, completely different character. Ooh. 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 Yeah, this one might have some more stuff for me to talk about. Yeah, this one has a little bit more, I don't know if nuance is the right word, but it definitely has stuff that I could more easily talk about on the theory side. That sync, that drop in, oh. I do love how they handle this part. Just building into this. Speeding up slowly, kind of ramping it in. Oh. Ooh. Okay. I guess that's how they're ending it. All right, so this one has a little bit more for me to really get into when it comes to the music theory of it all, which is kind of my new favorite thing to do on these videos, because I love to explain why things sound the way they do and how they have an impact on the song. Overall, this track was extraordinarily dramatic. Obviously, I think we can all put that much together. It's not exactly rocket science, but I love the way that they went about it, building things slowly, keeping things in the key of G minor, and just not really allowing it to flex too much until it had to right at the end, where it really wanted you to like take that effort and rise with it. And that's probably supposed to parallel the character of Duran a little bit, because I know he kind of does have a little bit of that in his story. The whole like rising above despite the odds is very much something he's trying to get used to and trying to adjust to the new world he is now a part of. It's a lot, right? So having a song that reflects that is an amazing choice, obviously, but how they do it and how they go about it is really what I love here. So like I said, it's in G minor. So we have this, and it's like very present, you know, we get this, a little bit of F is in here. We do have a lot of E flat, like basically between those two and D are like most of the song. There's a little bit of variety, as there always is, but this and this is most of the track. A little bit of the E flat in there too. Mostly those two, more of the relationship between E flat and F. So there's just a lot of movement that especially happens at the end. Like I said, things are starting to get in. We're adding triplets. So now we're starting to get a little bit of like a counter rhythm to the whole song and trying to evolve what the feel of the track is, which we did get little hints of earlier, but it's still so much more prevalent at the end. It's almost similar to how Stranger Things handled their triplets and how that can affect the whole like, ooh, this feels weird. I don't know if I necessarily like how that feels. It feels awkward to have triplets digging in that far and start building speed. It's just like, it's like, okay, when is it going to cap out? You know, it's something that holds the tension longer than it really needs to. And that's exactly why it works here on top of the chord choices here, because this is fucking cool. So we have this G minor, especially at the end there. We have that, and then it goes to an F, and then it goes up to a B flat, which is weird because like that is not a relationship that's like normal, right? That's just, it lifts so far above the F. it's just immediately that moment of like, ah, it's the aha moment of this song, really. It's that heroic triumph energy, like the bold sound that you need to have when a character is having those aha moments. Something where it feels like somebody just broke through the clouds, trying to soar as high as they can. That's the sort of change that happened here. Taking a minor to a major to another flat is a very heavy jump, because especially when it's that many steps above the F to the B flat, it's just a lot. So it immediately pulls you with it, and there's such a jump to something that leads into a little bit more of a flex to the E flat above, and we get that too, of course. So it continues to move upward. It doesn't just drop us right back down. And I love that about it too, because when it does drop back down, I think it goes straight back down to the first F that we were at before it builds back into that G minor. And we're like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Because now we have this second phase of that progression. So now we have the lift that the first phase gave us. What else is about to happen after that? So we go back down to the F, up to the G minor, and then an A. That doesn't even technically fit in this key. A diminished is technically what should be played here, but instead they go for the actual A, so we get the proper lift and not something that fits within the key specifically. And what that does is it changes the expectation of where the song is going. You get that B flat, it lifts things up, it's a lot more proud, but then the A comes in there and you're just like, whoa, that is so different. It takes a step outside of what should be played. And then of course we get yet another lift beyond that, so the A hits us and we're just like, oh shit, that's an A, that's completely different. What's happening next? We get the higher E flat, which isn't the same, it's the same thing as down here, but it's just, you know, up a whole octave, and then it settles into the D. And it just ends with that on the E flat note alone, and that is, to me at least, signaling the solitude of it all. This giant bombastic energy building, constantly churning out everything you can get from this song, changing things up, adding an A in there when it doesn't feel like it belongs, but it changes the perspective of the song and what we're allowed to do, where the perspective shift for Duran probably takes place, and then it's just back to that loneliness, and it's like, damn, bro. So what a fucking profound track to have for Duran's demo. In my opinion, between the two of the songs I've heard today, this one fits the character so much better. The other one definitely fit the character, don't get me wrong, but this one understood the assignment better. I think the other one was just kind of like a, hey, we've got a girl who's kind of a little bit spunky and she likes the, like, more counterculture sorts of things, so she's a wrestler. But that's definitely a thing that happens. You get a character that has counterculture and it's like, okay, how do we do this as generically as possible? That's kind of what Veressa's did. And it's like, that serves its purpose, I guess, but it just doesn't have as much oomph as something like Duran's did. That feels so much better to the character, feels more attuned to their perspective and their personality, whereas Veressa's gets in the ballpark, but she's not exactly playing the game. She's like in the dugout while the song is out there, or vice versa, however you want to see that perspective. Whereas Duran and this song are like on the same team, working the same game, same field, you name it, whatever fucking analogy you want to use for that. It just feels so much better. They work together better, whereas Veressa's, it felt more like an afterthought, I suppose. So not the worst song by any means. It was definitely a good track on its own, but if I'm talking about just the music theory behind everything and how the characters match up to the perspective of their songs, I think that Duran's definitely did better. But I think that's about all I gotta say on this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!